Welcome to Manifest Mondays, where we come together to make Mondays magical again and to help radically change your life with EFT tapping and manifestation. That is a mouthful. So this is a new series where we're going to be exploring a lot more in-depth manifestation topics as it relates to EFT tapping. And our first collection in the series is going to be Manifest Your Body. So we're going to be talking about weight loss, the stories that we create around our bodies, our genes and our DNA, how we can break free of those patterns, generational patterns, weight gain patterns, self-image patterns, all of those juicy things. Because really, when we manifest and when we are on a healing journey, the first thing that we have to start with is ourself and our relationship to ourself. So if we can't heal that, and if we can't accept ourselves as we are in this moment, then it's going to be really hard for us to invite in abundance, invite in healing, invite in anything that we want to better in our lives when we don't believe that we are worthy of that at a really deep subconscious level. So we want to heal that subconscious program and those subconscious beliefs around our worthiness or our rejection or our fear of failure because we look a certain way, because we hold so much weight, for lack of a better word, on our body image. We hold so much value on how we look. And, if we have the right amount of breasts, if we have the right amount of, whatever fat on our body, or if we have too much fat on our body, all of a sudden these things come into play where we don't think we deserve our dream job because we think we're underweight or we think we're overweight. We don't believe that we deserve love because we have something going on with our face, or we have, maybe we're suffering from an illness or suffering from something that is kind of upsetting our lives. And we let that create detrimental patterns and detrimental beliefs around self-worth and self-acceptance. No more. We are not doing that anymore. If you are here and you've never heard of me before, then you found this for a reason. If you have heard of me, then you know what I'm about. So before we get started, I would like you to please subscribe to the channel and like this video so you can help me grow, so you can help me, help other people. Share this video, send it to a friend who you think it would resonate with. Because at the end of the day, I want to keep all of these videos for free for you guys to access. So the more people who share, subscribe, and like, it creates more traffic, more algorithm. You get the idea. And I can keep all of this amazing content for free for you guys to access. So with that said, I want to start this first video in this Manifest Monday series, which we're going to be exploring manifesting your body. I want to talk about the topic of stories. So, and I'm going to start with a personal story. So I remember when I was younger, I would tell people that I had a big rib cage because my ribs would stick out as a kid. And it wasn't true that I had a big rib cage. I was just like a skinny, athletic kid with a flat stomach, so my ribs protruded out. But for some reason, I felt like a freak because I didn't look like the other girls my age, maybe, or someone made fun of me because of my ribs sticking out. So I validated that strange story in that moment, and I kept validating it over the years. When I would lay down and they would stick out and I would say, oh, I just have a big rib cage, like we just make up so much shit in order to survive the human experience. And it often comes at the price of our continued progress or our continued growth. And a lot of it happens when we're kids. And that's a lighthearted story, but there have been other stories that I've continued over the years because of something horrible someone said to me. Or I remember I was at an extended family's household, and we didn't have lunch that day, or we didn't eat substantially. So I kept going to the cupboard for a snack. So I kept going, and they just had biscuits. There was not much food in this person's house. So I was kind of just sneaking biscuits. And I remember the woman came in and she said, oh my God, do you ever stop eating? And for a long time after that, it really shook me. I was maybe 11 or 12 at the time. And I thought that I ate too much food. I thought that I was fat. And I wasn't. I've seen pictures of myself. I was very athletic, danced, did all this sort of like athletic stuff. But it rocked me as a 12-year-old and 11 or 12. I can't remember how old I was, but it rocked me. And I remember creating this story of, I eat too much food. Oh my God, I eat too much food. Like, I'm obese. I can't eat all this food. I need to stop eating. And then so at that age, I started to eat less, enough that my parents wouldn't notice, but I consciously made the correction to eat less food. As an 11, 12-year-old, can you imagine the kind of stories that we're still continuing from when we were really, really young, and then becoming a teenager, going through puberty, going through all those hormonal body changes, to then becoming a young adult and going through, discovering relationships and, becoming sexually active and all of that sort of stuff. And then, it's just, I call them stories because that's exactly what they are. They're just stories, but we have ingrained them so deeply that they have become part of our DNA, and they have become part of our manifestation structure in manifesting our body and our continued either growth or our continued blocks. So and when we're really young, when we get to the age of 7, that's when we stop sort of developing everything develops by the age of 7. Like, our emotions develop, our behaviors develop, we become more consciously aware when we're 7. But in that time, can you imagine all of the things that you would soak up as a sponge, as a child? And it doesn't even have to be put onto you. It could be your parents talking to each other, telling each other horrible things, or your mum looking in the mirror and crying because she thinks she's overweight, or someone said something horrible to her, or she has low self-worth. Or your dad, having low self-worth as well, not thinking he's good enough, he's been rejected, everything fails for him because he doesn't believe he's worthy. And as young children, we're just sitting here watching it, soaking it up, saying, this is truth, this is reality. And this is the core concept of how EFT tapping can manifest your reality. And I think a lot of people think that I'm talking about like magic, like that I'm just going to wake up in a different dimension, like some Doctor Strange thing. No. EFT tapping works through the nervous system and the limbic system in the brain, and it helps untag all of these negative memories and emotions that we have around these beliefs and these programs that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy, that we're overweight, that our body isn't the right shape or size, that we don't have the right hair color, we don't have the right skin color, all of these things. EFT tapping physically and physiologically changes those triggers and calms the nervous system, and neutralizes the nervous system so that we can explore those beliefs and those programs in a safe, untriggered way. And EFT tapping, when you think about all of the programs that you've collected over the years, because that's what we do, we collect things because we accept them as truth and reality. As a child, seeing our mama cry in the mirror and going, well, that's truth. Then our mum believes that, so maybe women are less valuable. Maybe women have to look a certain way in this world because my mum's upset, and that must be the truth because I trust my mum, because my parents are my gods. My parents are God as children. They are who we look up to, whether they're good or bad role models. So EFT tapping can literally manifest your reality because we're breaking down those belief structures, we're breaking down those programs that we've collected, and we're rewiring and overriding them. Does that make sense? So if you have a belief that women have to look like a Victoria's Secret model in order to earn anything in life, and that if you don't look like a Victoria's Secret model, you aren't worthy of love, money, a job, friendships, joy, nothing. You're not worthy of it. If that is your belief structure from a young child, because you've watched your mum struggle with that same belief structure and she didn't know how to change it, she didn't even know what it was, you are going to grow up, and every decision you make around beauty, around love, around money, around jobs, around worthiness is going to be based off that belief structure. So when you go for a job, let's say you have a dream, let's say you want to be a model, okay? But you don't believe that you can be a model because you don't look like a Victoria's Secret model. So every time you go to an interview, every time you go to a photo shoot, every time you go to get headshots or meet an agency, you have it in the back of your mind, I don't deserve to be here. I'm not good enough. What am I doing here? This is stupid. They're not going to accept me. And you create this belief structure in this subconscious program that omits this frequency, this energy out of you, this energy of desperation and unworthiness. And the person sitting across from you, the people sitting across from you will see that and feel that, because whether you believe it or not, we're all intuitive beings. You know, the human experience is an intuitive experience, and you can feel energy, and they're going to feel that. And then they will probably reject you because they don't feel like you're the right fit, because you don't have the confidence. But it probably had nothing to do with how you looked physically. You could have been perfect. You could have been the Victoria's Secret model, but your belief structure creates this reality and creates this facade of yourself that I'm not good enough. Don't give me this opportunity. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm out of my league. I'm desperate. I really want this, but I don't want this because I'm scared of success. And if I get it, I know I'm not right for it, so I'm just going to freak out and I'm going to let you down, yada, 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 yada. It's all the internal monologue become physical and energy. And so they let you down, they reject you, you go back into that belief system, and you prove to yourself time and time again, I'm not good enough because I don't look like a Victoria's Secret model. I don't get what I want because I don't look like a Victoria's Secret model. Everyone rejects me because I don't look like a Victoria's Secret model. But if you had learnt that that was your belief, and if you had dissolved that belief, healed whatever it was that created that inside of you, that trauma, that trigger, that experience, and if you had overridden it and created a new belief of, I love and accept the way I look, and I am 150% worthy of everything that I want right here, right now, because my worth is not based on my looks. I don't base my worth on my looks. My body doesn't dictate what I'm worth. All of those beautiful, grounding, stable beliefs, you probably would have gotten that job. You would have advanced your career phenomenally, because that energy would be emitting from you, that confidence, that self-love, that self-acceptance, that self-forgiveness. Because the biggest thing that I've learned, or one of the biggest things, I've learned a lot as an EFT tapping practitioner, but one of the biggest things is that people struggle with self-acceptance the most. Because self-acceptance, true self-acceptance, means we have to accept all of the mistakes we've made. We have to accept all of the victim mentalities that we've reinforced in our lives. We've got to accept our hand in our own suffering. We've got to accept, and we've got to accept and heal the shame and the guilt that we might feel for whatever reason. And a lot of people can't get past that. A lot of people really, really struggle with self-acceptance. And truly, I mean, it's probably the society that we live in that has created that hardship for people to accept themselves. But it's not impossible. I see it every day. I see it happen every day, and it's a beautiful experience. So with that said, let's talk about getting rid of all of these stories and manifesting your dream body, manifesting your whatever body, whatever it is that you want, getting yourself out of these, victim spaces and these detrimental patterns that are reiterating and shaping your life. So I want you to grab a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down one story that you keep telling yourself, or one story that keeps sort of echoing and creating this pattern in your life as it relates to your body. So maybe it is, I just can't lose weight. It's just my genetics. I don't have the genes to be able to lose weight. Or maybe gain weight. It's not always about loss. Some people struggle with weight gaining as well. So whatever it is, just pick one story because I guarantee you there probably are a lot. So we'll just focus on one, and you can come back to this video and do another story. Okay, now that you've got your story, I want you to try and zero in on where you think it began. Can you remember in your childhood your mum or your dad or whoever raised you telling you this story? Can you remember seeing it maybe on TV, maybe on a TV show, or you created this belief around certain things you watched or read? Now I want you to write down what it will mean for you when this story is dissipated from your life, when you no longer continue to repeat this over and over again. What is it that this story is keeping you trapped from or keeping you locked out of? A career, love, self-acceptance, money, whatever it is. What is going to change for you radically when this belief is gone? And then I want you to rate from 1 to 10, 1 meaning it doesn't feel true at all, doesn't feel possible, 10 meaning it feels very possible. I want you to rate somewhere in between there how possible it feels for you to be free of this story forever. So if I told you by the end of this video, that story will no longer exist in your subconscious mind, how does that rate? How do you rate that? 1 meaning it doesn't feel true, it doesn't feel possible. 10 meaning it feels very true and it feels very possible. Whatever number, don't overthink it. Okay, now we're going to get into the tapping. So we're going to start on the side of the hand point. If you're not watching this, you're just listening to it. It's the fleshy part underneath your pinky. It doesn't matter really what hand you use. You can swap over as you go. I use my left hand touching my right hand, but it doesn't matter. So we're going to start on the side of the hand point and just follow after me. Repeat what I say. All of these stories I've been carrying about my body and my self-worth, about how I look, and about how I'm not good enough because I look like this. Even though I've carried this detrimental story for so long, even though I've reinforced this story over and over again, when I should have healed it and changed it, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I deeply and completely accept the person that I am. Because all of these stories have one goal. And it is to keep me trapped in familiarity so that I can repeat the same survival patterns that keep me stuck, that keep me in low self-worth, and that keep me radically undervalued. And it's actually not fair that I continue these stories. It's not fair to younger me who had dreams that I'm not fulfilling as the adult. And it's not fair to future me who has already paved the success way that I keep sidestepping and skipping over. Because maybe I actually fear my power Because when all of these stories dissipate, when there are no more stories that are keeping me stuck, I won't have an excuse. I won't have an excuse to not go after what I want. So maybe I'm holding on to these stories because excuses are easier. Because I deeply fear failure. Because I've expected failure in the past. And that's exactly what I got. But if I look at it for what it is, I manifested that failure. Just like I can manifest my dream life. It takes the same amount of energy. One just means I can't live in fear anymore. And I have to change. And the other means I get to stay the same. So I feel very called out right now. But I'm here for a reason. And I'm ready to radically change my life and heal my relationship with my body. And so it is. Take a deep breath in and out. You might be feeling a little bit triggered with what I said, and that's totally fine. The goal of these videos and these sessions is to trigger you a little bit, to keep pushing you outside of your comfort zone, to show you how much power you have, even if you're using that power to stay stuck and to stay self-sabotaging. So just let the trigger be and stay with me. We're going to go to the top of the head. And again, just follow after me. I am free of these stories. These stories that keep my body locked up. That keep my body a prisoner. A prisoner to low self-worth. A prisoner to self-hatred. A prisoner to self-sabotage. I hold the lock and the key. And maybe that really annoys me. Because I've had this power all this time. And I've wasted so much time. When I could have been living freely. When I could have been living in self-love. But that's just another victim story. And I'm not going to listen to it. Because everything happens at the right time. And maybe I haven't been ready in the past. But I am ready now. And I am committed to healing from all of these stories that have told me I'm not good enough because of how I look. that have told me I had to make excuses because I look a certain way. And that I've had to live in fear of never being enough. Letting go of these stories is so easy. And it really doesn't take more energy than it does to hold on to them. And I've been holding on to them for years. So I feel empowered to let them go. I can feel them melting out of my body. And I already know that when I wake up tomorrow, I will feel lighter and have more clarity. Because there will be one less self-sabotaging story taking up space in my subconscious mind. And that means I get to create a better story, a better belief. And that belief is, speak your belief out. Whatever you wrote down, speak it out loud. Keep repeating it. Keep repeating it. One more time. That belief has integrated. I have overridden that self-sabotaging belief that has made me feel like my body was a plague. I've overridden it with my new belief. And this new belief is going to bring so many more opportunities for self-love and self-acceptance. I feel safe to heal my relationship with my body. And I feel safe to let go of these stories. One by one, I'm going to throw them in the trash. I'm going to throw them in the fire. I give my body full permission to purge these self-sabotaging stories. Because where I want to exist and who I want to become they need space for new stories. For new beliefs that align with their dream reality. It's okay for me to love myself. Unconditionally. even if no one has loved me unconditionally in the past. It is safe for me to heal these patterns and remove these habits. I trust in divine timing, and I trust in my power. And so it is. Take a deep breath in and out. Now I want you to revisit that rating that we did at the start of this session, and I want to ask you again, if I told you that by the end of this video you would have removed that self-sabotaging story from your belief system, how does that feel for you? 1 meaning it doesn't feel true, 10 meaning it feels very true. And there is no right or wrong. The ratings can go up, the ratings can go down. Everyone is unique. It just gives us a tangible indication of where your triggers are, where your beliefs lie, and how deeply ingrained these programs may be. So whether it went up or whether it went down, it's totally fine. There's no right or wrong answer. And it doesn't mean that it's not working if it went up. It does not mean that at all, so don't overthink it. But regardless, if you feel comfortable, please comment below what your ratings were. And if you haven't seen already, there is a free EFT tapping beginner's guide for manifestation with EFT in the link in the description below. So grab that as well to start your EFT tapping journey. And I have Instagram and TikTok if you want more content. And if you want my programs, you can find me at www.themanifestportal.com for my full EFT tapping programs that cover a range of topics. But until then, I will see you next Monday. And if you haven't already, like this video, share it with someone who you think will resonate with it, and subscribe so I can keep these videos free and flowing for all of you wonderful, wonderful people.